through 3 hours of the regular show on terrestrial radio, and you wanted a little bit more, so that's why you found the Gun Talk After Show podcast, where we saved all the best things that we can't say on regular radio. Now here's Tom, Michelle, and Jim for the Gun Talk After Show.
After show time, Tom Gresham here with Michelle Cleland. Hi, Michelle.
Hello.
And it's just the two of us. We're not going to talk to him over there.
Him.
Perfect.
Him rhymes with his name, Jim.
Perfect. It worked.
Jim.
Him, Jim.
Jim Kinsey, how are you, sir?
I am awesome.
So,
Man.
I'm some awe.
yeah. So you got Tom over there in the corner. We're not going to let him talk. That's okay.
Right.
He's pouting.
He's been
Say hi,
barred.
Tom.
Hi, Tom.
So Jim loans Tom a gun, and then you forgot you loaned it to him because you're carrying your other gun, and you're going, it's like,
He
that's
asked
what
me
we
today, he
do.
goes, hey, do you know what such and such model goes for? And I said, I used to have, oh, wait a minute. You have
Wait,
mine.
you've got my bodyguard. What?
Yeah, so cool gun.
You know,
Hopefully
Tom,
he'll grab one.
you should never have mentioned anything about it. See, Jim, you'd have forgotten who you loaned it to.
Yeah, probably.
And of course, that would be a crime if we get the whole expanded background check thing done.
Sure. I forgot what I had for lunch, so it doesn't really matter.
Huh, okay. Hey, hold on, guys. We're going to take some calls before these guys get antsy and go wandering on us. Line 4. Mike is in Statesboro, Georgia. Hey, Mike, how can we help you?
Hey, how's it going?
Great.
Awesome.
I wanted to ask if somebody with a green card or a permanent legal resident, but not a citizen, could legally buy a firearm.
Yes.
They can? Oh.
Yeah, Michelle, right?
Right. A legal resident, let me see, what do they say? Legal permitted resident immigrant or something like
If you're here on a green card.
Yeah, I believe that's the writing. But yes, they can purchase
Yes.
one
You do
set.
not. You do not have to be a U.S. citizen to buy a gun in the country. You simply have to be here legally.
Right.
That's what I figured. All right. Well, I'll tell this fella, and assuming everything else is in order, that he
Yeah.
can go.
Check to make sure there's nothing local or state-wise that would keep him from doing so.
Are you selling a gun to this first person?
No. I was just this guy that asked. He's Canadian. He's been here for 40 or 50 years, but he
What's the
wants to buy
rush?
firearms.
So he doesn't like us enough to actually get his citizenship here, though.
I don't understand it. But this guy, if it's the only guy that has been here this long and hadn't gotten a citizenship, it's got to be about money because this guy's that way.
Okay, so it's probably a taxes thing or something like that. Who knows?
Maybe
Yeah,
so.
Go home and get free health care.
yeah, but the Canadians coming here to get good health care.
Right. You don't have to wait as long.
And I got a relative that is, he's from Colombia, which might be a strike against him, but he wants to learn how to hunt, and he was asking me. And so they don't have much hunting down there, and he's independently wealthy now and bought a big chunk of land and wants to teach him how to hunt. So,
Well, cool. You know, that would be a fun thing to do. Obviously, in Georgia, you got lots of stuff. You got turkeys, you got deer, you got wild boar now, wild hogs everywhere. You got all sorts of stuff.
yes, that's what I'm going to try to show it all to him.
Yeah, just think, Mike, with his newfound money and your hunting expertise, you could train him for a fee.
For a fee.
Now you're talking.
I was just going to ask if he needed any additional cousins or...
Oh.
You can do the whole rent a relative thing, right?
He's available.
No, send Michelle pictures.
I will.
Okay, this thing has just gone south on us so badly, I swear. Oh, by the way, Mike, you might want to check, I'm trying to think, your state laws on getting hunting licenses. If he's not well, of course, he could be a resident. He doesn't have to be a citizen to be a resident. He could probably buy a resident state hunting license.
Yeah. That's one thing he's definitely going to have to do.
All right, thank you, sir. Appreciate that. We're going to Bill right now. He is in Reno, Nevada. Bill, you're on the after show now. This is the part that goes out to everybody all over the world in the internet, and I think it goes global. Probably is heard on Mars. How you doing, man?
Not bad. Hey, just to let you know, Reno's having some good events today. We've got Rib Fest, and we got some balloon races coming up. So
nice.
Hey, I
okay.
just wanted to talk to you about something and I actually talked to my wife about this the other day. You talk about the Second Amendment, and I think personally, after I talked to a friend of mine, people tend to hide behind the Second Amendment a little bit too much without understanding what it actually was for.
Okay.
When the Second Amendment was originally written, if you read history and you read the documents that are associated with the Constitution, those documents don't support owning guns for sport. The Second Amendment referred to securing a nation, and it was to tell the people that you were able to secure a nation within yourselves. So if the government actually did something wrong, you had the protection clause, as it were.
Absolutely. You are 100% correct.
Yeah, and as time goes on, things change. We don't have the Minutemen anymore. We don't have the militia. We've modified our military to 5 branches. And so we kind of took a look at the Second Amendment over time, and those certain things weren't necessary anymore. And we certainly can't defend ourselves against our own government at this point, because they've got a much stronger set of weapons than we could ever own. And so at the time it was written, it was on pretty much an equal playing field. The people that were protecting our nation were using the same muskets that we were shooting turkeys with.
Okay. So therefore what? I'm trying to follow you, but then that means what for you?
Well, here's the idea. The people that are trying to, and like I said, I own a gun. I'm not, trying to tell people they can't own a gun, but the purpose of the Second Amendment should be used properly. Don't use it to say I own a automatic weapon and that's legal and it's allowed, when technically it isn't. The Second Amendment never allowed you to own a gun that could do mass destruction.
Of course it did. Of course it did. The Second Amendment said we could. The Second Amendment, and you're correct. It was all about having a check and balance for the government. The Second Amendment said we could have the same guns as the government, because we had to be able to control the government if it ever got to that point. So by your logic, we should have the same guns as the government, right?
No.
Why?
Because we pay the government to protect us, and we are not in the position as a people. Wait a minute, let me finish.
All right.
We're not in a position as a people to defend ourselves in the way we should defend ourselves against a nation that has the weaponry. No, we're not. Certainly, you're not licensed to hop in an F-16, and certainly I am not either. And there's no way in the world I can be certified. Therefore, a lot of the weapons that we pay government to build for us are there for our own safety. We're not supposed to own them.
All right, Bart, let me ask you a question, because, I think you are right historically, all right? But I think we diverge where we are now. The purpose of the Second Amendment is for us to be able to control our government. So the government is not there to protect us. So you say, well, we pay them to protect us. Now, forget that. What do we do when they have run amok and we have to stop them, and we have to regain control of our country, of our government? So forget all what we're paying them to do. They're not there to help us anymore. What are we going to do? We use our guns, and I know you're going to say, well, gee, you're not going to fight people who have F-16s. Well, it's called asymmetrical warfare. And if we have to go there, we have to go there. But there are 100 million of us, and there's 2 million of them.
I know you know about smart weapons, and I'm sure your audience does too. There's no way it's not an equal playing field, and you've got the whole premise incorrect.
Okay.
The idea that you're supposed to defend yourself against your own nation also was instituted when we had the right to vote. Now, you know as well as I do that I can vote my person out within a short period of time, and we can change laws, just like Obama left office and some of the laws that were enacted by him were changed by Trump. That very same thing can happen at any time if the people actually find the right person to put in office. You're telling me that violence using sophisticated weaponry that we don't have access to is the actual means to an end. And I think, boy, if you're thinking like that, man, you better rethink what you're talking about, because...
Wait. Now, here's the thing. I have let you talk for a long time, and you've put words in my mouth that I've never said. But I'd let you go ahead and do that, okay? So I'm just going to ask you, are you saying that the Second Amendment is no longer relevant and we should get rid of it?
The Second Amendment needs to be modified to today's standards, just like everything changes.
All right, rewrite it for me. How's it going to read?
I'm probably not intelligent enough to do it. I would leave that up to the professors and scholars.
Okay, because right now, here's what it says. A well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. In other words, it says that the people, you and me, have the right to own guns so that we are in fact the militia. The National Guard is not the militia. You and I are the militia, and that is by actual federal law.
And your point?
My point is we are the militia. Every man and woman up to age 45 under federal law, current federal law, is in the militia, the unorganized militia.
Whoa. You just used a phrase that doesn't work anymore.
What do you mean?
Well, first of all, how do you organize a militia nationwide when communication doesn't really allow for that?
I guess.
See, your whole premise is wrong, because you really think that you can mobilize a whole nation. I mean, we're doing this for a radio show, I understand that, but you think that we can mobilize a whole nation by just getting on the phone or getting on the internet and saying, "Hey, let's do this." When in reality,
you said, instead of asking me questions, you keep telling me what I think, which is a weird way to do things, man.
Well, no, I'm correcting your phraseology.
No, you're telling me what you're telling me what I think. You're telling me what you think I think. And you're not asking me what I actually think. It's a weird way to approach things.
Let me give you an example. If you go back to the Constitution when it was written, 1700s, we didn't have telephones, for God's sakes. We didn't have anything.
So what you're telling me, the First Amendment should not apply to the Internet.
Let me finish my statement.
I have been letting you finish your statement all along, but you won't let me get in a word. You jump in the middle of it. So let me make a statement, okay?
Okay, go for it.
Fair enough? You going to let me say something now?
Yeah.
Okay, here's the deal. The Second Amendment was written for us to be able to be a stopgap against a rogue government. We had just fought a war with a rogue government, the British government. The framers of the Constitution were not about to guarantee that a strong central government was the only place that had force. We just fought a war against a strong central government. So they said, we're going to make sure that the people, if they need to, in the unlikely event, they can actually go back and regain control of their country. That is what the Second Amendment is about. And it is absolutely, trust me, you're not going to have people using smart weapons against the citizens of the United States. Not going to happen. Eric Swalwell says, well, we're going to nuke gun owners. That's not going to happen. Are you kidding me? And as far as asymmetrical warfare, you don't have to look real far in the recent history to find out how effective that is. I don't want to go there, but that's what it was written for, and actually, it's not a bad premise. But the idea that we have outlived the Second Amendment is as silly as the idea that the Internet has made the First Amendment, somehow not applicable. It just doesn't make any sense. I understand. You're wanting to get rid of the Second Amendment. I get that. And the old, I own a gun, so I'm a gun owner. No, you can't hide behind that fig leaf.
Let me interject one thing here. You made the idea that basically we can mobilize against our government, and we did it against the British, which is the example you gave. We didn't do that as a nation. We did that individually in small groups when we had our shores violated. The guys that were over in Idaho had no idea what was going on in Virginia because there was no way you could get any messages over to those people for weeks.
And your point is?
6 weeks to be exact.
And what's your point?
Well, the point is you can't mobilize a nation very quickly.
Don't have to mobilize a nation. That's not what. You keep imagining things that I haven't said. I'm not talking about mobilizing the nation. I'm talking about it. Okay, for example, I live in Louisiana. We had Hurricane Katrina. The mayor ordered the confiscation of every firearm in the city. It was completely illegal. It was completely unconstitutional. And yet he sent armed people to confiscate guns. Should that have been resisted? You tell me. Oh, man.
There you have it.
And there you have it. You know, when they start losing, they bail on you. Oh, well. That's, it just...
He didn't even get to name calling yet. That's no fun.
But I do. You always love the whole deal. I own a gun, but you're going, yeah, okay, here we go. There we go.
I own a gun, but we call it a stock, but...
But I'm fun.
I own a gun, but who you calling a butt?
Right.
Okay. All right.
And we're way past break.
Way past break. Be right back.
FN, the world's most battle-proven firearms. You want to reach for history, for greatness. So reach for the FN57, a 5.7 millimeter pistol built with the DNA of over a century of legendary FN firearms. And now, it's within reach at your local firearms dealer. The FN57 is the perfect combination of accuracy and stopping power. FN, the world's most battle-proven firearms.
Want great deals on guns, ammunition, and gear? Download the free Gundealio app today. With Gundealio, you can search for deals, listen to the Gun Talk podcast, watch gun videos, read gun news, and get notifications right to your phone about deals and special offers. Save money on the products you want from the companies you love. New deals, discounts, and rebates added daily. Gundealio, available for free in the App Store and Google Play.
So really, all he wanted you to do was answer, how do you mobilize your country? And I don't think it would take that much to get that done.
It almost sounds like he's like, well, we shouldn't have the right to do that just because it might be tough.
Really? I don't think it'd be that tough.
Well, of course, what he's actually saying is, well, the government would shut down the internet, right, and you wouldn't have the means. Okay, I get all that. I understand that.
Well, I could get on my John Deere instead of on my horse.
Arms. What if by land, two if by sea?
I thought you were married to Chad. Who's this John guy? I'm telling.
You're going to be fine until you run out of diesel. That's, there it is.
But, I guess, I don't know. That's just where I was like, that's really where he was stuck. Like, how are you going to mobilize them?
Well, he can't, in his mind, envision a way that the citizens can be responsible for themselves. In his mind, the government is where all power comes from. It's where all safety comes from. We pay them to take care of us, so we should just shut up and put up with it, whatever happens.
Yeah.
He can't imagine any time when we would say, no, you guys have gone crazy. Oh, gee, you're rounding up Americans and putting them into concentration camps. That would never happen, except as it already did.
Right.
Well, and honestly, when I talked with him, he was about the students at a college giving the pros and the cons, not at all what he just went off into a tangent on.
Well, some people lie to the call screener.
Even me?
To get on the show.
What?
What?
I kind of took his whole stance as, since they have more sophisticated weapons, we probably don't stand a chance. So just let it go.
Right. There was a part of that. He says, you don't qualify for an F-16. Well, if I could figure out how to get it started and get the emergency brake off, I could fly that sucker.
You bet.
You take the chances of making it through,
I may not be able to land it, but I can get that SOB off the ground. I guarantee you, by golly.
Right.
What do they
hold
say?
my beer and watch this.
What do they say? Takeoffs are optional, but
landings are mandatory.
Yeah.
That's right.
It's going to happen.
If you can get it off the ground, you're coming back. I guarantee you.
I'd like to request a flyby. Negative.
Negative, Ghost Rider.
We're not going to land it. I'm just going to fly over the airfield and eject.
Oh, my goodness.
I'll float down under the chute.
That would work.
Wow.
Oh, God.
Interesting.
That was a strange call, but it is also, it's kind of a window. What he basically was trying to say without saying it, because he didn't want to be branded with that, is he wanted to say, you guys are nuts. You guys are paranoid crazies for thinking that the Second Amendment is actually about controlling the government or resisting the government. I understand that's a line of thinking that is difficult for people to incorporate into their thinking. And it was probably a strange idea back in the 1700s, the idea that we would take on the most powerful government on the planet, the British government.
Well, and we have allowed the government to get the expanse that it is right now, to be meddled in all of its areas, I'm going to say, because there's lots of them. I mean...
Well, imagine this. You come from a military family. If something so horrendous happened and the government, the president, whomever he or she might be, had ordered, say, the mass incarceration of millions of Americans, or the extermination of, you would see military units that would break off and take all their military gear and become the resistance force.
Right.
People go, oh, that would never happen. It happens all the time. If you just get out of your bubble of the U.S. and look at the world, there's not a 10-year period on the planet when it doesn't happen.
Right.
So, it's just like, okay, well, that would never happen here. Well,
Except
everybody who says never is almost always proven wrong in everything. I don't know.
That's a
But
person
what's interesting about that, guys, is that in the Heller decision, the Supreme Court said that the Second Amendment is there for resisting the government, but also for self-protection. So they actually reinterpreted or added an interpretation to the Second Amendment, saying that it is actually there for your personal protection as well. Kind of interesting. There's that. So, Jim, you brought up an interesting idea during the break that I had not actually thought of. And
I slipped. It won't never happen again.
That's right.
We let it go. Can I call a mulligan?
No.
It was my idea.
What? Girls don't have ideas.
Especially not good ones.
Isn't there a sandwich somewhere that needs to be made?
Oh,
Boy,
yeah.
you're going to get a lot.
Yeah.
Sure, I'll get your coffee for you, Jim.
You'll wear it nicely.
Okay.
No, I don't know. The idea of Stuart, might be time to start thinking about another gun talk gun.
Yes. Oh, that idea. I thought you were talking about bug-out bags.
See, I told you didn't have a good idea.
He says, I did have an idea?
Oh, that one. Shoot,
How
that was
about that?
2 of them today?
2 in one day, yeah.
Oh, wow.
Well, I was thinking, because we got the 25-year anniversary coming up. We did one for the
That's true. We did
15 and the 20, right? Or 10
We did.
and 20,
You're
15
right.
and 20.
Yeah. Because so far we have done 2 10-millimeter pistols.
So we got 20 millimeter so far.
So we got 20.
25.
So we should go with a 40-millimeter cannon or grenade launcher. I'm liking this.
The
like where this is
25th
going.
anniversary gun talk and grenade.
That's right. Oh, gosh.
Order them for friends.
It's interesting. I would start playing with thoughts. We've done 2 handguns. Now, here's the question. Do you think people would be... Handguns are still the most popular. What would people be interested in?
A gun talk 25th anniversary PCC. Threaded barrel. Affordable ammo.
Maybe. Maybe. I was just talking about PCCs last night because I went a little nutso and I bought 4 33-round Glock mags.
I thought you...
Yeah, I don't have anything to put them in, but it's...
I thought you didn't have time to do said shopping.
It's so easy. You just click and point and give them your credit card number, and it shows up. It's crazy. So now, but I'm thinking that would be great for a PCC. I was thinking about the Ruger. You could put the Glock mags in it. Now you got a 33-round 9mm. Be nice. But, the whole deal is then you got to do something interesting and different and all of that. So it's figuring out, okay, who are we going to do something with? and how we go about it. Those first two we did were fun. We did one with Kimber and we did one with SIG.
Mm-hmm.
I think maybe not another 10 millimeter.
Right.
It's been done. How about 11? 11 millimeter.
You know what I shot the other day, which is really cool?
Uh-oh.
An FN 5.7, and I was really surprised at the recoil.
Like no recoil.
Or lack of. Yeah.
Yeah. It's interesting because has very little recoil, but it is loud.
It's loud.
It's loud, but an effective round. It's a good round.
It is.
Little TCU.
Oh. Or for the 25th.
I went to college there. Tennessee Community College University.
For the 25th year, we could do a 25 caliber. Since I've been playing with the 257
Gatlin.
25 caliber Gatlin.
Oh my
Gatling
gosh,
gun.
Jim.
It'd be great. They make 22s.
Wow.
Michelle, he needs to get back on his meds.
Yeah, those good ideas, take it back.
Let's just cancel out the other two ideas. Okay.
I know you thought that it was time to get off, but it's not. It's you're not there yet.
Well, how about after this break, you give us some guidance on how I can turn my life around?
Oh, God. We don't have that much time.
This is Ryan Gresham with Gun Talk. Visit guntalk.com/win to enter our latest giveaway for a chance to win a Kimber in September. Our grand prize winner receives the Kimber Evo SP Custom Shop 9mm handgun, a collaborative design between engineers and gunsmiths, with stainless steel slide, G10 grips, True Glow Tritium Pro sights, and 2 7-round magazines. Enter now through September 27th at guntalk.com/win.
Attacks happen every day. How will you react? See real people put into real-life criminal attack situations on First Person Defender. Discover what works and what doesn't. Kidnapping, ATM robbery, home invasion, and other attacks. Learn how to save your life and the lives of your family. Get the entire first season on DVD at shopguntalk.com. Get prepared. shopguntalk.com.
As the cylinder turns. Tales of revolver lovers.
Ooh, maybe a revolver.
Yeah, I just was thinking maybe a revolver. Yep.
25 round cylinder. Awesome.
Meds, Jim. Meds.
Yeah. I see you calling up Charlie and saying, I need a smart carry holster for this 25 round.
Tree now. You could get like the big Smith & Wesson Monster 500, but then on the cylinder you could like have them drill out a gazillion little 22 rimfire holes in it. Mm-hmm. See how many you could get in there. That'd be fun. That's what we need is a 5-pound 22 rimfire revolver.
Practical. I don't understand why none of these newbies ever come back. I'm starting them out at 22.
Like,
talk about your no recoil, though.
Squirrels beware.
That's right. And if they're not impressed with being hit with a 22, you just whack them with the gun, right. Just bludgeon them.
Mm-hmm.
Squirrel bludgeoning.
Squirrel bludgeoning.
Olympic sport.
Somehow no.
No, yeah.
We get 800 Peter calls this week. That's not even funny.
Ain't that funny?
Do you know how many squirrels are bludgeoned every year in this country?
That was James Kenzie, Ken.
So when I'm out in Idaho, in Boise, there's a road there that is named the Chicken Dinner Road.
Oh, stop.
No, I'm serious. And so there is. And the story is, I guess the lady lived down this road, wanted to get it paved, and either the mayor or the governor came to see her, and she cooked a chicken dinner for him, and ended up getting her road paved. And so they call it Chicken Dinner Road.
Love it.
That's great.
PETA came out and said it needs to be renamed because it is offensive to the very idea that you are eating chickens.
Such
and we have
foul
a road
language.
Named that. Foul language.
Sorry, I couldn't wait.
That is bad.
That is terrible. But I like it.
So now it's Tofu Brunch Road?
No, it's Chicken Dinner Road. They told them to go, get out of here. Yeah. It was like, are you kidding me? Come on, it's Idaho. Go away.
It's history.
It's
Come on,
chicken.
let it go.
I mean, we're not even talking about killing stuff. It's like chickens. That's why they're here. They're there. The only reason they're here is for food.
Oh, my goodness. I need to leave. They can no longer be part of this show.
Would you like a thigh or a drumstick?
No hate mail. No hate mail.
What? What? Everybody likes chicken, right?
Not everyone.
Yeah, it tastes like chicken.
Yeah.
Not everyone likes chicken?
No.
That's un-American.
Well, just saying.
You don't like chicken?
And then the people who really love chickens will hate us.
Oh, man. I mean, I love chicken. I mean, I like Popeyes, and so it's deep fried with a little bit of cayenne pepper on it.
Sorry,
yeah, buddy.
I'm hanging out at Chick-fil-A.
Yeah.
Can't make
That'll
me
work,
stop.
too.
Oh, God, they're good.
I'll eat that, too. I'm pretty ecumenical when it comes to fried chicken.
It's a pretty big word. I'm going to have to look that one up when I get off air.
Thank goodness I have my word for a day deal going here. It helps me out. So, he says, switching. So I'm sitting here. I actually do have this box that, was it Doug sent me with a 45-70 ammo?
Yeah.
No, 257 Weatherby ammo. Very cool.
And the brass.
I got brass. I got a set of loading dies. Here's the fun part. He sent me the 257 Weatherby dies, but he also threw in a box of loading dies for the 340 Weatherby.
I didn't even know they had a 340.
They do. It's a 338 caliber, really. In typical Weatherby fashion, they call it 340. It's just like the 460 Weatherby is really a 458.
You just got to one-up the other company.
Well, sure, because that was what Roy was all about, the marketing, man. He says, ours is bigger. We've got a bigger number.
It's like every motorcycle ever made. What size motor is that? 1,798 cc's. Oh, so it's an 1,800. No, it's 1,798.
So I used to have a 340 Weatherby, and then I kept, and I love the 338 Win Mag. This is just more of it. I don't have one anymore, so now I have a set of dies.
Oh, I see.
Does that mean you have to even out and
I see what he did there.
Forced you to buy a new rifle?
He was just trying to get you going instead of you being the enabler. He was
enabling.
I have been enabled?
You were reverse enabled, yeah.
Yeah, he dared you.
A stealth enabler. Huh. I'm good with that. That's okay.
I'm strangely fine with that.
Any excuse to get a new gun, I'm for that. Although I don't really want a 340. I've kind of gone the other way. Right. I used to go big, and now I'm going to moderate, mid-size cartridges because I have found that there's no such thing as deader.
Yeah.
Right.
Once they're dead, they're dead.
Small fracture lines are better than really big ones in x-rays.
I was going to say it's either a 300 Weatherby or 340. They're both chiropractor guns.
I do love the 338, though. I have shot a bunch of stuff with those things.
Chickens?
Everything from no chickens. Let's see. With the 338, I have shot critters weighing 100 pounds and weighing 3,000 pounds. So it works.
That's a pterodactyl.
You got to lead them. How far do you lead them? Oh, about 50 million years. So there you go.
Pull eventually.
Wait
for it. So.
Sorry, everyone.
Well, I'm going to get to work on the idea of a 25th anniversary Gun Talk gun. For those who don't know, and there are people who are thinking, I don't know about this. What we've done is limited runs. We kind of work with a particular manufacturer and we do something that's different and interesting. And it'll be a specific Gun Talk labeled gun and do a limited run. And so I think the first one we said, okay, we'll take orders for 30 days.
Right.
And that was the number we ended up, or whatever it was, is, I think it's somewhere on the order of like 250 guns is what it ended up being.
252, Tom.
Because you have that serial number, don't you?
I have the last one.
I have number 1, and you have 252. Mm-hmm. Cool.
Shows you where I rate.
Back of the line, buddy.
Oh, they're cool. My son still say, Dad, you're going to die pretty soon so I can get that gun, right? I'm like, no.
Oh, no.
I want the Gun Talk guns. No, not yet. Don't push me.
And then that was the Kimber. And then we did the SIG, 10 millimeter, and we got in. I bugged them for 3 years trying to get them to take that 220 and make it a 10 millimeter. And we finally beat them about the head and shoulders. And then, of course, that became a regular run for them.
I was going to say, I think you beat them to the punchline there, right?
Yes.
Brought the 10 back.
Was it 220 or 226? I thought it was
220.
It was 220, okay.
Yeah, because the 45 ACP, and then they made it in the 10 because I figured the thing's big enough, just do it. And, I mean, they probably did it just to get me off their back, and then, of course, it became a part of the regular line.
Well, we're
that's a
never
cool
selling
deal.
these, but it'll shut Gresham up, so this is...
Yeah, little did we know. So we'll come up with some kind of cool... Oh, wait. You know what? We may have to go to lever action.
No argument here. Zero argument.
A lever action in 25 ACP. I'm thinking that's the way to go right there. Yep. You could put like 42 rounds in a tubular magazine.
Make sure they're the lever evolution type, though. You'd hate to have them going off in the tube.
I'm thinking that there's no such thing as a sharp-pointed 25 ACP. Not a chance. Anyway, we'll work on it. It's kind of, and we'll do this. We'll if anybody has any ideas of what they think would be a cool gun, something they'd like to see, or something that'd be kind of interesting, we have time. Let's see, it being now the 1st of September as we're speaking. So that would probably be time to get it out in time for our 25th anniversary, which actually falls in March of next year. We wouldn't have to exactly hit that date, but it would take a little while to get this in the works and get something out the door.
What about a shotgun?
Maybe.
A 25 gauge. It'd be hard to find ammo, but...
Did you know there actually is a 32 gauge?
There is? I thought 28 was the...
Yeah, no. They got 28 and there's a 32 gauge. And there's if you want to get really esoteric, there's a 24 gauge as well.
Wow.
I know. It's bizarre. It's weird stuff out there.
And a 10 gauge. I knew about the 10 gauge.
10 gauge, yep. And there's the 8 bore, which is bigger than 10 gauge.
Mm-hmm. Another chiropractor gun.
Yeah, there may be bigger ones, but now we're limited. 10 is the largest you can use for hunting migratory waterfowl, and that pretty much is the cutoff then, because in the old days of commercial duck hunting, they would use 8 bores. But actually, you know what? Our 12 gauges now are better than their 8s were then, because they had lousy shot and they had no chokes. This was before chokes. So when you get a nice 12 gauge with a good choke and the kind of hard shot we have now, it's actually better than those old 10s or 8s they had back then.
Right. Plus nowadays chickens don't fly that high anyway, so it's not really...
I knew we were going to go back to that. Oh, darn it.
Couldn't drop it, could he?
No.
Just couldn't do it.
No.
Slapogram.
Gosh.
Slapogram coming your way. Don't open the door.
There's a package for you, Mr. Kenzie.
So this show is going to be labeled Foul Show. Foul play.
Foul play. Foul ball.
Oh my!
Okay, I'm done.
Okay, bye.
I'm done with you guys. I'm just.
When are we going to start the real after show?
Yeah, I didn't start
there
recording.
There is no such thing as a real after show. It's just this. I don't know what this is, but this is what it is.
No chickens have been hurt in the taping of this program.
No, you don't. See, you're not in the same room with me. You have no idea how many chickens have been hurt over here.
Well, I know what's happening here. And no chickens were hurt in the taping of this program.
You can say we're just winging it over here.
Oh my God.
It's time to go.
I'm leaving.
Time to do the hokey pokey and turn yourself around.
Oh, so that's what it's all about. And with that, thank you all, and we will see you next week.
Well, that wraps up another Gun Talk After Show. But if you want even more gun-related stuff, don't forget to check out Gundealio. It's the app for Apple and Android phones that connects you to all the Gun Talk shows, plus even more. And we'll catch you next time for the Gun Talk After Show.